I was super excited when Molesworth reached out to me to speak at this event because I am so excited and I love talking about what we're doing at IHG. I was a little bummed, though, that he only gave me 20 minutes. And so I was like, how can I condense? No, I got it. I figured out how to condense this down to give you guys some fairly good information about how we do agility. Now, I got to tell you, there's a number of folks here from IHG. Raise your hand if you're from IHG, okay? Yep, so a number of folks. These folks over here, Carl is one of my Agile coaches, and these folks over here are working in technology. They're very mature, and relatively so, in your Agile practices, but they're software. What Carl and my team of several coaches and about 16 Agile project managers we're running projects, Agile initiatives, with absolutely zero software. Now, there's a little bit of technology involved, right? You think about your hotel room. When you go back to your guest room and you want to order room service, there's a little bit of technology there, right? Because you order it and it comes and it eventually hits your bill. But we're not software at all. And so I don't know if I got is this the clicker here? Good. So let's talk about the journey at IHG. I was actually asked, I was working for an organization as an Agile transformation consultant, and some of you may have heard them, Leading Agile, Mike Koppmeyer's organization. And Mike actually asked me to go to oh, by the way, my background is tech. You know, my long career has been about technology, software projects, and when Mike asked me to actually go to IHG and take my technology hat off and put on my hat of collaboration for a group of marketing and brand folks, architecture and design, I was like, how in the hell is this going to work? I really questioned it. But I got in, and they had originally asked for Scrum training. And what he said was, hey, look, we'd be happy to take your $10,000. We'd be happy to train you on Scrum, but I guarantee that when we leave the building, you're going to go right back to the ways of working. And so that was Holiday Inn in Q4 of 2015. And what I actually did was I got them to talk. They didn't need Scrum. They didn't need Kanban at that time. They just needed to talk to each other. And as you can see through this journey, I keep turning back here because I think it's behind me. You can see that we went through 2016, 17, 18, and into 19. It's really grown. We are up to, sorry to interrupt. It's probably me. This one on? I have that effect on microphones. So you can see that our journey is really, really expanded. And it largely was about the successes that were happening out of Holiday Inn originally. Crown Plaza team was struggling, and they said, hey, we want what that team has. And these initiatives, again, are about hotel design. And marketing campaigns and prototypical hotel builds. But I wanted to talk a little bit before I get into why I'm here. I'm here during this customer seat at the table, not to talk totally about our agility, although grab me afterwards and I'll tell you exactly how we're doing it, and I'll geek out about it all night long if you want to. But what I am here to talk about today in this 20 minutes is about our innovations practice and how we bring the customer, how we actually get the purview of the customer before we ever go to market with anything, and how that cycle happens. But let's talk a little bit about Piper model, which is waterfall. Prioritization, initiation, planning, execution, and realization, just like technology projects. Old waterfall projects. What would happen, and you guys know the model, initiation is your project kickoff, Planning is your requirements period. Execution is build, right? And then there's realization, which who's doing that really in the industry? But so what would happen is the brand would give these design requirements and brand intent and global design philosophies to a designer who would then go and work with an agency 1, 2, 3 months later, come back with a design, and the brand would say, well, you know, you kind of got it, but you didn't really get it. And so they'd go back to the table 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks later, come back. And so like you could see with other waterfall projects, there was a lot of lost time and a lot of money spent on this lag. And so what I basically brought to the table was, you know, 2-week sprints, clarity in who's doing the work, accountability of the backlog and building backlogs, forming teams, creating a structured governance, and time boxing that work into 2-week increments. And my mind was blown away because what I thought was only a technology thing, it actually is thriving at IHG across most of our brands. And so what I want to show you guys a little bit more here is what our product actually looks like. Oops, advance. So this is how many here have stayed at a Crowne Plaza, by the way? Nice, okay, I like seeing that. Crowne Plaza is one of my favorite brands, and there's a lot of transformation that we're trying to do with that brand. But this is what's called the work-life room. And it's a very specific design that was around zones for sleeping. And you can't tell too much by this picture, but the bed is angled. And it was a design that we even patented. And it's, I consider it to be a very elegant design. This is a rendering, it's not an actual photograph. But this is one of our products. This is something that we put through the Agile pipeline. The design, right down to the finishes of the tables, the lighting, the curtains, everything was selected using the Agile methodology. This is a Holiday Inn, our brand new prototypical build. This too went through our Agile process. And I could go from brand after brand after brand and show you all the different examples of our product. But the point of this is our product is not software. And I keep saying that because I'm so excited to be in this arena of non-technology, and it has there's extreme differences between how we do it in some cases, and then it's pretty basic and still the same in others. But one thing I can say are the people are very different. The people in brand and marketing, they brush their hair and they smell good and they but they're very, very, very creative. And I can tell you that in every one of my rooms, there are tears because they're very committed to their designs. And when someone comes back to them and says, I don't like the finish on that table, they get offended. Whereas there are no tears in technology. I spent the majority of my time in technology, and you can't get developers to say much, let alone shed a tear, right? So what's interesting about our design, our work, is we actually have to start with a concept, right? And any of you that know anything about architecture, you know that architecture has a life cycle of its own. And from conceptual to schematic to construction, there's a whole process that happens, and we've had to sort of fit that into our agility process. But what we start with are really concepts and drawings, physically sometimes on paper, just drawing out what this brand may look like, or what a guest room may look like, a corridor, a fitness center, a meeting and events room like this. And then we go to the next level of fidelity. And this is where I think it's very interesting. We have a design innovation center about 8 miles from here. It's 70,000 square feet. It's a warehouse. And what we do there is we test everything with the customer at the very beginning, on the onset of our initiatives. The customers, our target guests, are brought into this design innovation center, and they're asked questions, and we get their perspectives. And so what you see here is a rendering of an Avid Hotels room, and then what we do is we take and start to build that out in foam core. Now, you might ask, why would you do that? A rendering gives you a good visual, but it doesn't give you very much spatially, right? And so when we build it out using this foam core, which is just kind of an expensive cardboard, what happens is you get the opportunity to start to build things and get a perspective of size. And we bring customers, franchisees, guests, we bring our senior leadership through, who also are not designers, but have a lot of design opinions. And they walk through these rooms, and we get to have an opportunity to look at what a hotel room might look like, or a lobby. And so then we progress it by going into a different level of fidelity, which is actually building the room out of chipboard and actually constructing the room. Now, the foam core opportunity gives us the ability to test things without a whole lot of expense, because procuring FF&E, furniture, fixtures, and equipment, at this level of fidelity is quite expensive, because we're asking a supplier to build something one-off. And so as you can imagine, it's quite expensive. But getting us to have the opportunity to do that in foam core allows us to do it at a very low cost, and while not, you can't lay on a foam core bed, it still gives you the ability to take a look. So a funny story about this picture. This is looking down one of the corridors, and we had an electrician in, and I had a lot of equipment in a Holiday Inn room. This is actually an Avid corridor and a Holiday Inn and a Holiday Inn Express corridor with their guest rooms. Had an electrician in, had a lot of equipment in, lighting equipment, because we were filming for a operation commercial. And the electrician came in and he looked around, he walked down the corridor and he saw all these bedrooms and filming equipment, and he said, "What are y'all filming here?" And I assured him that we were not doing anything of the sort. So this is just a couple of other views where you can see that we bring folks in through our insights group, and we, in this massive warehouse, build these wonderful model rooms and corridors. And in this case, you're looking at a rendering of an Avid Hotels lobby that eventually we built using foam core, and you can see there's just IKEA furniture in there. It's not expensive for us to do that. But it gives you the opportunity to have the opportunity to look at something and think about it. And then we go to the next level of fidelity, where our millwork is actually, we use wood, and we test it again. We bring folks in and we say, is that the right spot for refrigerated beverages? And does this marketplace, do you think this would suit your needs? And eventually, we get that millwork built and procured, and what you're seeing in the warehouse is the Avid lobby, and the picture right next to it is the actual Avid lobby, first Avid hotel on earth that we built this time last year in Quail Springs, Oklahoma. Thank you. I'm blanking there. Almost said Colorado. Quail Springs, Oklahoma. So it's actually it's a great process. It's an innovative process, and it's one that allows us to really test and have the opportunity to get our guests and our, we say customer seat at the table, but it's our guests at the table, and it's our franchisees that are at the table that really, they're concerned about cost, right? They want to build a hotel and fill it up and make money. And they want to do that at a cost per key that's reasonable, depending on the brand. I think, a Holiday Inn Express cost per key is probably somewhere in the neighborhood of $5,000, plus or minus a little bit. Our owners want that down. They want us to value engineer that room down as much as possible to where the fidelity of the design is good for your guest experience, but also puts money in their pocket over the long haul. So, I appreciate the opportunity, and I would really welcome the opportunity to meet with you afterwards and to talk more about this. So, thank you.